Hi folks, it's Sarah here from the Champion Lifestyle. I hope you've enjoyed those first two videos where we gave you a bit of background on who I am, what the Champion Lifestyle is, what you can learn, and then we talked a bit about metabolism and why dieting is actually really bad for you. I showed you how my own experience backs that up. Okay, so now we're going to actually start getting into some real activities. Okay, I've just put up a little plan here of what we're going to cover over the next few videos. We're going to start with phase one. The important thing with this is setting yourself up for success right from the word go. And that's going to start with your with a kitchen makeover, then a kitchen restock. And we'll talk about, the kinds of foods that you ought to sort of consider, really ask yourself whether they're helpful towards your goals or not, and the kinds of foods that you can move towards instead that are more conducive to a healthier lifestyle. From there, we will learn how we can customize food and eating in any situation to you and your body size. So this is how you identify whether a meal will help you towards your goals, whatever situation you're in, without resorting to counting calories, without having to sort of tell your friends that you can't go out because they're going to a restaurant that doesn't fit with your diet, or any of this sort of stuff. So this phase two is absolutely critical to the whole sort of champion lifestyle. After that, we're really going to start putting things into action. There's no good reading something in theory, learning something in theory, if you don't actually practice it. And there's a quote that I absolutely love by Will Rogers, and he basically says, even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. And that is so true. Anything that you undertake, it could be, whether it's a diet, whether it's a new lifestyle, changing habits, changing your behaviors, changing your thoughts, learning a new language, studying. If you don't take action, you're not going to get the results you want to see. So we'll look at planning, we'll look at food prep, we'll look at how to make everything as convenient for you as possible. One of the most common excuses people have, of course, is, oh, I'm too busy, or I don't have time. We will show you how that you always have time and you're never too busy. And then one of the absolute most important factors of anything you do, whatever new program you start, like I say, it doesn't even have to be diet related. Anything you start, consistency is the key. Do something every single day that gets you towards the goal that you're currently working towards. Then in phase four, you will learn your body. You will learn to listen to your body and what it's telling you. So you'll learn when you're hungry, when you're really hungry, when you're not actually hungry. You'll learn when to stop eating, or when to keep eating. And you'll learn how to stop being on autopilot when you're around food. Because being on autopilot and not being mindful of what you're eating is often why many of us end up where we are. So these really are the four sort of key phases to the champion lifestyle. So we'll go through those gradually one by one. We're going to kick off with the kitchen makeover.
Hi folks, it's Sarah here from the Champion Lifestyle, and you can see that I'm dressed for business, the hair is up. So what are we going to do today? Well, how many times have you got home from work and you're tired and you're stressed, you've had a busy day, and the kids are jumping all around demanding what's to know for dinner, or the husband's demanding to know what's for dinner, or even yourself, you're going, what's for dinner? And you just don't know. So you just crack open the fridge or the pantry and you reach for whatever happens to be handiest. Now, that could be a pizza, it could be some chips, it could be some crackers, who knows, a bit of ice cream. Look, we've all done it. I do it myself still. I'm not an angel. I'm never going to pretend to be an angel. I'll get home from work, and even though I have prepared stuff in my fridge or freezer, I'll still dial up the pizza. Look, it happens to all of us. But when you're starting a new health program, or you're just trying to make your whole lifestyle much healthier, and also to lessen the amount of decision making you have to do, particularly when you're tired and stressed, because we get what's known as decision fatigue, and that's when we make poorer choices, particularly in a health perspective. One thing that you can do is a kitchen makeover. Now, that's not as drastic as sound. I'm not telling you to rip out your kitchen or anything like that, but what we're going to do is, the first step to doing a kitchen makeover is to look through your cupboards and your pantries and assess the foods that you have in there and how they fit into your new health goals. And then the second part of this is getting rid of those ones that don't help you towards your health goals. Okay, so if you're ready to do this, the final part, of course, is restocking your pantry and fridge and freezers with foods that do help you towards your health goals. So if you're ready for this, let's get started. I am going to do a kitchen assessment and makeover. Okay, so here we go. Let's open up the cupboards. Now, I'm just going to do a quick scan. You can see on this, we've got the wine at the top. There's a shelf there with crackers and stuff. Then we've got all sorts of other stuff here, sauces and vinegars and spices and tuna. And then we've got some more stuff here. And you're probably starting to get a clue now as to more crackers and biscuits, tins of things. I don't know what's all on this one. Lots of pots and pans. Now, having said that, of all of those shelves, there's 5 of them in total. Only one of those is mine. Now, I live with a housemate. He's just a normal guy. For some reason, he eats a ton less food than I do, probably about half the amount of food I do. But for some reason, he needs 4 shelves of a cupboard, whereas I only need 1. Now, he goes shopping once a week, and he'll come home with 4 or 5 bags of stuff, and it all goes into these cupboards. But like I say, he hardly eats anything. He skips meals on a regular basis. You know, he comes home, eats late at night, and yes, I know he does tuck into the ice cream because he's eating at 10 o'clock at night. And he did happen to complain to me the other day that he's noticed he's put on weight. And part of this is the fact that he doesn't have a system for his food. And his cupboards are full of stuff that he doesn't even know what he's got. When he gets home and he's tired and he's cranky and stuff, he might just reach for whatever's convenient. And you can see in there, that includes chocolates. There's more chocolates up there and crackers and stuff. So how is it possible that somebody who eats half as much food as I do needs 4 times as many cupboards? It's kind of fascinating. I find it kind of fascinating. Anyway, we're not here to discuss that. So, given my 1 shelf, I'm now going to take everything out of it and decide if I'm going to keep it or bin it. Okay. Now we'll start with the MCT oil. I will keep that because I use that in my bulletproof coffee. Maple syrup and honey. Yes, I have those because I use those every day in my digestive health drink, which we will get to at some point. Apple cider vinegar, yes, that stays because I have that before I go to bed. Vanilla extract, yes, that stays because I have that in my bulletproof coffee. Unrefined coconut, that stays because I cook with that. Oh, chia seeds, yep. Finish those off tonight. I've got some crackers here. Now this is, I have to say, is a leftover from Christmas. It's not something that I would usually have in my cupboard, but I did have a couple of picnics over Christmas, so hence the crackers. Now, stock. Yes, stock cubes are essential. They stay. What else have we got? Pink Himalayan salt. Yes, that stays. That's essential. Now, what have I got here? I've got some coconut milk and some more coconut milk. Now, I have a feeling that I haven't... What's the date on those? First, oh well, that's expired, so that can go. So I'm going to put the go pile over here. So we've got the stay pile, the go pile. Clearly, if it's out of date, I haven't used it. So, and now that it's out of date, I'm not going to use it. What's this one here? 2018. Look, I'll keep that one. I know that tin has been there for a while, but I do like coconut in my curry, coconut milk in my curries. So what have we got here? Now, we've got coriander, fennel, and cumin seeds. Yes, those definitely stay because I make up a digestive tea from those. It's an Ayurvedic thing, so, whoops. So that definitely stays. Cumin, yes, that stays because I do like my herbs and spices. In fact, I'll show you my spice cupboard up here. Lots of spices. I do like my spices. More spices, more spices. Yeah. So spices stay. And look, they're just great for flavouring foods anyway. What have we got here? Nori flakes. Yes, those will stay. I'll finish those off tonight. They're a sea... Well, you know what nori is. It's what you get around sushi. It's very good in terms of your thyroid health. Now, what have I got here? Some gluten-free wraps. Again, that's kind of a hangover from Christmas. It's not something that I would usually... Since there's only one, I'll finish that off at some point today. Now, what have I got here? Organic brown rice. Well, that's pretty full. When was the last time I used that? Oh my gosh. Best before January the 16th. Wow, that shows how long that's been sitting there. And I'm sure once you go through your cupboards, you'll find an awful lot of stuff as well that's just been sitting there for ages unused. And that's a clear indication that you don't need it. Brown teff. I'm going to keep that because, although that's out of date too. Okay, so I'll throw that. I was going to say I'll use it. I make this really lovely dish called kitchery, which is an Ayurvedic dish. And it does, I do add the teff to it. Now what have I got? Soup star mix. Yes, this stays because that's essential in the kitchery dish. I'll probably make kitchery at some point and show you about that. Now what have we got here? Quinoa. Now I've obviously had this at some point. Best before November 2018. Yeah, look, I'll keep that. Sometimes I cook up a batch and then spread it over 3 or 4 salads. You know, quinoa is actually quite a nice addition to salads. Jasmine rice, that stays because that's used in kitchery. Buckwheat flour. Now, I obviously have used this, but it's out of date, so that goes. So you're starting to see that, you know, when you get to the back of your cupboards, there's all this stuff that you might think is useful, and that you're, oh my gosh, look at this one. Best before 2015. That definitely goes. Quinoa flour. So I obviously haven't used that. You start to find stuff that you think is useful and you go, oh, well, look, I don't know, I'll just keep it. And all of a sudden that you find that it's been sitting there for 2 or 3 years in some cases. Almonds, definitely, always keep. Pumpkin kernels. Oh, wow, those are out of date too. That's a bit unexpected. I do like my pumpkin kernels. Great addition to salads, but it's out of date, so I'll throw them. Desiccated coconut. Again, great in curries. Yep, still in date, so that stays. I make a beautiful beetroot curry, which requires desiccated coconut, so that definitely stays. Now, what have we got? Tom yum soup. Well, as long as I have that in the next 30 odd days, might as well keep that. Now, you can see, there's one thing that you'll probably notice here. There's actually not a huge amount of processed food. Yes, I do have the odd sauce and stuff, but most of it's actually whole raw ingredient, if you like, raw ingredients for stuff that you would make other things out of. That's a feature of the Champion Lifestyle. That one can go because it's out of date. That's a feature of the Champion Lifestyle, and that's the whole premise. In fact, that's one of the key premises of the Champion Lifestyle, is the majority of the food is based around the stays. Great in the bulletproof coffee, of course. The Champion Lifestyle is based around whole, fresh ingredients, minimising where possible bottled packets and processed foods. Now, yes, there's a lot of packets here and stuff, but it's all raw ingredients. It's the spices, it's the nuts, it's the oils that you cook with, or the flours. So it's not pre-packaged foods, if you see what I mean. Pre-packaged meals, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. You know, it's not convenience food. None of this is convenience food, and that's the whole purpose of the Champion Lifestyle, is to get away from the convenience lifestyle that is not healthy. Okay, now we've got some more nut mix here, but it's out of date, so that goes. Do you know, I'm going to throw this rice. I've had this jar of rice, and this that has moved with me 3 times, so over the last 4 years, so that's definitely going. I'll keep the pot, of course. Now, pasta. Do you know, I can't even remember the last time I ate pasta. I'm trying to find a best before date here, but I can't see one. Does pasta ever go off? Look, I just don't eat pasta. I just never get round to it, so that can go. Spaghetti. Again, I have a feeling I've actually moved house with this one, and it's come with me probably about 3 years ago, so that can go too. I just never get round to eating pasta. I can't even remember the last time I ate pasta. balsamic vinegar glaze. Now I'll keep this one actually, as long as it's not out of date, because again it's great on salads. So I'll keep that. Oh, I'm going to throw the stevia. I went through a phase of having stevia in my bulletproof coffee, but I actually think it hampered me. It was when I was on competition preparation, and I actually think it hampered me losing weight, and I think it's the sweetness. So I'm going to ditch that. Now I'm going to ditch these nuts as well. I'll keep the pot obviously, because those nuts I had with me in South Africa back in February, so that can definitely go. Oh, miso, yes, that stays. Miso, if you get this stuff called mirin, and you mix it with miso, and then you coat salmon or chicken with it, and bake it, it's absolutely divine. So the miso stays, and this can stay. What is it? I'm going right. Yep, the rice will get used in a kitchery at some point, so that stays. Tia Maria. I just don't even know how to explain that one. It is mine. I am going to fess up to it, but I don't know how to explain it. But I'm going to bin it because it's just right now. It's not conducive to my health goals, so therefore it goes. You have to be brutal with this, by the way. Baking powder. I don't even know when I used that, and it's out of date anyway, so that goes. All right, so there, we're done. Kitchen cupboard is bare. Needs a clean out too. But now you can see I'm left with a pile of stuff that I will be using, because it's all sort of key ingredients to the kind of foods that I keep, that I make. And then I've actually got quite a small pile of stuff that's going to go. And although it's raw ingredients and you can make really healthy foods out of it, because they're out of date, I clearly haven't used them for such a long time that, you know, they're just cluttering up my cupboard. Okay, so I don't need them, so I'm going to throw them out. So I guess that's the first couple of steps of the kitchen makeover. The next thing to do will be to assess the fridge. So we'll go into that in a second. Now, second part of the kitchen assessment and makeover is going through your fridge. We've been through the pantry, so now we're going to go through the fridge. And I just quickly wanted to show you again the difference between somebody who has a complete system for what they do and somebody who doesn't. Now, this is my housemate's fridge. It's actually it's fairly empty for him, but you can see there's lots of sort of, he does love his Cocobella. You can see that it's kind of a bit of a jumble, and there's nothing. He does seem to have a bit of an organisation for sauces and stuff at the back there, but you can see there's sort of chocolate in here and there's Coke in here. Yes, he's got a lot of healthy stuff, but there's nothing really organised. Okay, so as you saw how he had all of those shelves, and he doesn't really eat much food. He also has a much bigger fridge than me. We have our own fridges, so let me just see if I can get you a perspective here. That's my housemate's fridge, the big silver one. And there's my fridge, the little white one. And again, this is kind of strange because I'm the person who eats all the food. And let's just contrast this. There's virtually nothing in here. A couple of eggs, a bit of butter. Yes, I do have some sauces there and my probiotics, but these are really well done spice mixes. Then I've got some flax seeds. I'm actually going to throw out the mayo because I've had that. Good grief. That's 3 years old. That goes. Olives. I did just get those for my picnics recently. And I do like olives. They're actually fantastic in salad, so I'll keep the olives. Bit of a curry paste here. That can go because I clearly haven't used that forever. What else have I got? Thai green curry. See, these are, again, although these are sort of processed and stuff, most of them are really good. You know, they have no added sort of nasties. You know, you're only using a little bit at a time. I can't even see a date on this one, but I know it's been there for, you can see that it's been there forever, so that can go too. The pesto, yes, I'm using that at the moment. Both of the pestos I'm using. Some garlic. Usually I use fresh garlic, but every now and then I get a bit sick of it. Now, what have we got there? August 17th, yeah, so that garlic can go. Now, what have we got here? Couple of pieces of bread. I'm actually going to put that in the freezer now because I probably won't be eating a huge amount of bread in the sort of coming few weeks. I'll eat the odd bit here and there, but you know, I don't eat a lot of bread in general, and you know, being a full-blown celiac as well. Bread's just not something that's been part of my diet ever, really. So, I don't tend to eat a huge amount of bread. But, that is some nice bread. And I have had a bit more over Christmas and New Year. So I will keep the bread. Now, ginger, yes, that stays. The lemons stay. That's for my morning digestive drink. So I know that's going to get used. Coconut milk. Yes, again, I use this. And this is an unsweetened one. So it's actually relatively good, and that's in date too. That can stay. What have I got here fishing around at the back? We've got an apple cider, so I think I'll throw that. Pear and ginger, I don't even know what that is. Anyway, but it's out of date, so that goes. Oh, some more olives. It's amazing what you find in the back of your cupboard. Yep, we'll keep the olives. Great on salads. This is interesting stuff. It's actually really nice, although it's out of date, so I am going to throw it. It's really nice stuff. You can see it. So this is what I'm looking at now, this yacon syrup. It's really lovely. It's kind of gooey and it looks a bit like maple syrup, and in fact it does taste a bit like maple syrup, but it's out of date, so it's going. So this is my nice marinated kangaroo. That can stay because I literally just got that out of the freezer the other day. Now what have we got in the vegetable drawer? Oh, it's all looking a little bit sad. So we've got some rather wilted looking asparagus. Yeah, that can go. Garlic. Do I throw that or not? It's kind of growing stuff. Yeah, look, I'll get some fresh garlic. Yep, onions, right, that can stay. Mushrooms, yeah, probably seen better days, but they're okay. I'll use those in one of my curries or the kitchery. So that's the fridge assessment. Pretty bare. Like I say, I only get the foods that I need to avoid as much waste as possible. Okay, the one thing we haven't done yet on the kitchen assessment is freezers. Now again, I've got no idea what I'm going to find in here, so I'm just going to go through my housemate's freezer. Wow, it's totally empty. But what you can see is a ready-made meal and some magnums. Now, I'm sure if you looked in your fridge, you might find very, very similar things. And I have seen him come home from work late at night and just grab the Magnum. Now, if you find yourself doing that, ask yourself, is this going to help me reach my health goals? And the answer will be no. So, this is my freezer. And you can see it's actually a lot fuller, but it's full of just raw ingredients. So we've got some nice salmon. We've got some nice salmon. We've got some nice tuna. Now, what have I got here? Oh, lamb's kidneys can go. I did have a fit of creativity at one point and decided I was going to do some deviled kidneys, but that obviously fell by the wayside. And you can see I've got it organised. I've got the meat at the bottom, so I've got some chicken, kangaroo, more chicken, fish, prawns, and then at the top I've got my vegetables. My freezer is full, but again it's full of just healthy foods that you can actually throw these together quite quickly and make a really quick dinner. But there's no convenience food, there's no ice creams, there's nothing here that can tempt me and throw me off my goals. So excuse me, so the freezer, these are actually some beautiful fresh herbs. Sorry, over here. These are actually some beautiful fresh herbs that my brother's grown. So I've just frozen those to make sure that they stay fresh. And again, there's some more herbs there. So you can see the difference between the freezers. My freezer is full of healthy stuff, just whole foods, whereas my housemate's freezer, he's got the convenience foods. So when you're trying to move towards a much healthier lifestyle, you need to ditch those convenience foods, get them out of the way, because if they are in your house somewhere, at some point, they will get eaten. I can practically guarantee it. Anyway, okay, so I hope that helps. So there you have it, that's the kitchen makeover. Now, if you haven't done anything like this before, I highly recommend it. It'll definitely kick your healthy lifestyle off to a better start. And look, I realise it can be very daunting actually, going through cupboards and pantries that you really got no idea what's in there. But it can be kind of fun in a way. You're going, well, what on earth is all this stuff? Why did what was I thinking when I needed it? But I do recommend you do it because it really, really cements I guess, in your physiology and your psychology that you are absolutely committed to moving in this new direction. And get your family involved. Get your husband, your partner, your wife, your kids involved as well in it. As you saw, I was surprised at some of the stuff I have, and I really didn't have much stuff in there. You know, it can become a kind of a bit of a magical mystery tour. You'll discover things along the way that you just might go, what on earth was I thinking when I got that? So involve the whole family, because then it not only does it show them how committed you are, but you'll also engage them in the process, get them to support you on your journey too. Okay, so please do this. It really, really will help you get your environment set up in the right way, get yourself kick-started off in the right way, and it'll be much easier for you as we go along this. So have fun. In fact, make it fun. You'll discover stuff about yourself that you didn't know, but make it into a game. Have some fun with it. I'll see you when you're done. Okay, take care.
Okay, so now your cupboards are clean, your fridge is clean, your freezer's clean, and you're ready to move on to the next phase, which of course will be restocking. But I just thought before we go and get into the restocking, let's just recap what to look out for and what you should throw away. Okay, so when you go through your cupboards, things like cookies, crackers, potato chips, baking supplies, baking mixes, confectionery, sugar, breakfast cereal, particularly breakfast cereals, you know, granola bars, cereal bars, muesli bars, you know, anything, even if they're healthy, throw them out because they'll probably be loaded with sugar. Processed salad dressings and sauces, again, they'll be full of sugar. Packet or canned soups, I will have a caveat there. Some are better than others, but you know, most commercial brands, again, are full of sugar, so throw them out. Pasta, white bread, instant anything is definitely needs to go, and all vegetable oils except for olive oil. Now, when you get to your fridge and freezer, soft drinks, fruit juices, we'll get round at some point to talking about eating calories versus drinking calories. Commercial dips, sauces and dressings, things like salsas, pestos and hummus can be okay. Just check them. Low grade oils, for example, corn oil, canola oil. You know, if it's made with olive oil, it's okay to keep. Get rid of processed and deli meats, particularly sausages, unless they're 100% meat, because they often have cheap fillers and sometimes even sugars in them. Desserts and ice creams, of course, even the low-fat ones, they're often very high in sugar. Check frozen fruit. Some of them do have added sugar. It's not many, but some do. So just check your frozen fruit. And just any TV dinner, regardless of whether it's low-fat, heart healthy, Weight Watchers approved, or TV celebrity approved, throw it out. If it's in the house, at some point, somebody will eat it. And it's probably likely to be you. Okay, so there's a quick recap. The next phase is to restock the kitchen. So we'll move on to that very shortly.